Hey guys, we're back, and this time we're going to be giving you our impressions of the first episode of Last of Us. Nadia here, Gotham Geek Girl. Hey Nadia, how you doing?
Good. How's it going? Chilling.
I know you were excited about this for a while. You've been wanting to see this. As a fellow gamer, as I am, you probably had some expectations.
Hell yeah.
And so what I guess what's your, before we kind of get into like some of the details, I guess without spoilers, or we not, are you want spoilers, no spoilers?
Maybe start without spoilers and then later we'll get to spoilers.
They got the option, right? What was your first like overall impression of this episode, comparatively, I guess, to the game? Because I know you were probably thinking about like were they doing certain things a certain way for you, and definitely in this first episode the big scene with Sarah, but like, what was your overall impressions of the first episode so far?
So I definitely enjoyed it. Going into this, I was wondering how they're going to break it up, because this game is known for like its storytelling. It's phenomenal. Right. It's one of the best games if not the best game of all time, and it came out a decade ago. And I was just wondering how it's going to translate into a television show, which is better than a movie format because it's very long form storytelling, so they're gonna have to break it up. The first episode was only probably like barely a segment of the game.
Right.
So I'm super excited because that was like just the intro. So I think they did a pretty good job of like explaining kind of who the characters are a little bit, just like a little fresh introduction. And at first with the casting announcement, I wasn't very excited. I wasn't really sure how I felt about Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, Pedro and Bella Ramsey.
Yeah, and Bella Ramsey, like I was like, I don't know if I see it. But also, like, remember the whole Ellen Page thing? Like, Elliot Page sued them for his likeness.
But that wasn't even. It didn't even, because they did the Ghost game, where I don't know if you remember that, where it was actually Elliot in the game. And it was coincidence. I didn't think it looked anything.
Yeah. Because like when they cast Bella, I was like, I do not see it like at all. But I'm gonna give it time. I'm definitely gonna give it time. And then like Pedro's like such a phenomenal actor. Yeah. I definitely think he's gonna kill it as Joel anyway.
Not gonna lie, I definitely imagine a white man that was gonna be playing Joel. So we get a something a little spicy here for Joel this time around. So, and like you said, he's a great actor. And so far we've seen him play serious. We've seen him play goofy. He has a lot of range. Even when it comes to emoting under a helmet, you know what I mean? He has a lot of range. But never in my life would I be like, man, you know who I think should play Joel? Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I thought like Hugh Jackman and Tommy. I was thinking of Jamie Lannister.
Okay.
That's how I envisioned playing the game.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jamie seems a little old, like for that role. That guy's at least 50.
For Tommy.
Right. Him and that because that's the show. Joel and Ellie is the show. So who do you get to cast as your leads? Because they have to hold your attention. You have to pick. And like you said, I was also concerned about how the pacing was going to be. Because a lot of video games is stop and go. You know what I mean? Like, okay, let's shoot up a couple of these zombies or the infected real quick, and then okay, let me tell you a little bit about my backstory. And that's how the video game works, and how they do that to the show. How they gonna give us the show with leaving surprises? Because like for the most part, if you played the game, you like, man, I know what's coming, right? Like as you watch this episode, you're like, all right, we know the whole scene with Sarah's coming, but they added a little in between because we don't get that scene where she's over the neighbor's house and we see the woman that eventually winds up attacking them. When in the game, she just shows up and they just get the hell out of there. So it's a lot of things like I hope that they change to surprises, because other than that, like for me and you who's played this game probably multiple times, it's like, right, where are the surprises? Why am I watching this? This is clearly for people that have no clue what this game is or what it's even about. So where they leave surprises for us? Like I said, I mean, I thought they did a really good job. What are you jumping into? Like, just our impressions about like they had to get the whole scene at the beginning with Sarah, right? And every time I see that, it gets me. every time I thought the actress who played her did an amazing job.
Yeah.
And little time that she had to play, but every time I see the scene in the game, and even here, they did a really good job of creating that scene. What did you think about that?
So I guess that's also one thing I was concerned. Like, is this going to be like a straight adaptation? Because,
Right.
like you said, like for us that have played the game, like I said, it came out in 2013. So I played this on the PS3. I played it again for the remaster. I played it again on the PS4. I played it again on the PS5 to prepare for Last of Us 2. So like, I was like, I've played this game so many times. I know every single thing that's gonna happen. Is the show gonna like change anything, or is it gonna be like a straight adaptation? So what I like what you just brought up with Sarah, it's like in the beginning they did give us like a little extra. So I'm hoping as it goes on, maybe we'll even learn a little bit more about Ellie and like her past, and like just really start to go into things a little more, because that's what the Last of Us is known for, like the narrative. It's not like other zombie games where it's just like shoot 'em up. Like this one is more about the story, like the characters, and that's what makes this game so phenomenal. So I'm really hoping that the show is gonna like push that. And they also recently, Neil Druckmann, I think, just made an announcement that it's not going to be as gory. I'm hoping it's gory. I need it to be gory, but at the same time, if they're doing it like to focus on the story and getting that right, like the focus on like how messed up human beings can be, then I can kind of see that working.
And also try to identify themselves heavenly from The Walking Dead, because that's kind of the same, whatever. Like, okay, hey, the dead are going to be the dead, but people are just fucked up out here. You know what I mean? So definitely want to differentiate yourself from that. Of course, this is a fungal infection that they explain early on, and we get that scene early on at the beginning of this where they have a breakdown of like what would happen if that would happen. That was years before the event broke out. And that's something that you don't get in the game that I thought was interesting. The scene, I mean, we get Tess here. We get a little bit more Tess. First of all, what did you think about the actress that played Tess and this little extra scene they gave us that we don't get in the game of her breaking out of being in torture here?
Yeah, I was wondering at first. I was like, is that going to be Tess? And then like I was like, oh, okay. Like she seems pretty badass. So I think she was pretty cool cast. And then what is it, Maureen?
Yeah, Maureen.
Yeah, Maureen.
Marlene.
Yeah. So it's cool that we're seeing like a lot of characters from the game. And I guess like we were just saying, are we going to see a little bit more about their story, or are they kind of going to be like a, what do you call it? I can't think of the word right now. Like a jobber. Are they going to be like jobbers, just like in and out for 2 seconds?
I was thinking, like I said, when you adapt things, like, and I feel like I used it before, but how the most recent DC animated films were, where they were recreating the classic stories, but threw a twist on them. So like it wasn't the same story. And I remember that for like the Hush story, when they did the New 52 DC one, they made it the Riddler. People were like, people were like up in arms.
Like, so, wait, what?
So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. I'm thinking like for this, maybe they'll, like I said, they'll throw us a couple more Easter eggs, like you said, more backstory. With this so far, they've given us hints at maybe there's more to Joel and Tessa's relationship, because you really don't get a lot of potentially what that was. Even though y'all go around and kill people on the way to try to find the battery, and how, like you said, how they're gonna handle the pacing, how they're gonna handle the pacing. What did you think about your introduction of Bella Ramsey, of Ellie's character in the show?
I like that she cursed. I was like, she's growing up.
Yeah.
I still think she's kind of young. I'm trying to think how far apart The Last of Us 2 is, because I'm like,
that's a big gap, yeah. Because she's like 20s in that, right?
Because I'm kind of wondering how are they gonna continue if this season is only gonna be the first game. If
they recast.
So that's one, because like
they're not gonna wait 5 years.
I'm like, she's pretty young.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see going forward, because if this is staying like completely true to the game, and this is just one season.
So has it already been confirmed that this first season is just the first game?
That's what I believe.
I thought they were going to just break this down and like it was going to be a lot of filler or something.
But also, if the episode count is 10 or 9? 9. So they haven't really touched upon much yet. So maybe they
like you said that first part of the game is like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Like before you even like, and you're still with Tess and Joel and whatever. Like before you even get to like a certain part of the game, because there's like chapters.
Yeah, there's definitely chapters.
Yeah. So like I wonder how they, like you said, how they're gonna handle that pacing and how they're gonna handle the characters. We talk about Marlene, we talk about the Fireflies. That was a big part of the game. How that was going to be handled. What kind of like did you expect to see like more of the backstory of the Fireflies? Because I feel like they talk about it, but they don't really show anything. Like it's kind of just like splattered all over the town and stuff like that. But they never really go into the backstory of like what the Fireflies really are, because like you get the whole thing with Marlene, but you don't really get to see what they are other than just blowing shit up as you see here. What did you think about like just the Fireflies that they've shown so far?
I think coming from like the gamer standpoint, I need to like not lower my expectations, but kind of look at the show as a different entity and kind of see how they're going to handle it. Because in the game, it's like at some point you'll play as Joel and focus on him, and then at some point you'll just like focus on Ellie. And I don't want to like give away any spoilers right now, but like as the game continues, you learn like a lot of secrets and like a lot of things from the past. So I'm wondering how maybe they'll do like flashbacks and stuff, and then in those moments maybe they'll show us more of the Fireflies and like how they met.
Yeah, that's I mean, they do a really good job, I think, with like handling like a lot of some of the flashbacks and stuff like that, because that's kind of the only way you could do it if this show is gonna continue to be an hour every week. You're definitely gonna have to do that. Man, I gotta say, I think they got the look perfect. I think the clothes, the look, the background of the show, it looks just like the game. And I thought they did a really good job of that. I mean, even like the color palette, like as you see, like the whatever they're filming with, it looked dark and gloomy.
When I saw Neil Druckmann was attached to it, I was like, okay, this is gonna be an actual video game adaptation. Like this is gonna be legit, not that Resident Evil Netflix.
None of those movies that that won't get any honorable mentions. But I think that video games adaptations to either not counting Resident Evil are getting more serious, like getting seriously more treated. Now, obviously, video game storytelling and TV show storytelling are two different things. Like, and that's why they say adaptation, because it has to be adapted to television. So there are things that have to change so that your modern audience will actually watch this. And which I think a lot of people that play this game need to understand. Like, you're not going to get an exact interpretation of the game, because if you did, it'd be too damn long and it'd be boring. Like, we're not about to watch 50 scenes of them stopping and shooting zombies or infected every 5 minutes, right? Speaking of, just segue right into that, what do you think about the infected? The infected. What did you think about the infected?
Oh, okay. So that's gonna be my biggest, like, as the season goes on, I'm definitely gonna be like dissecting that, and I'm probably gonna be really nitpicky because this is like my favorite game. So like when they get to like the clickers, like they better be frightening, because like this is one thing, like when they announced that the show was coming, I was like, how are they gonna show like the fear? So like when you play against the clickers, like for the people that aren't familiar with the game, there's like this echo thing you can do where like you can kind of like listen through the walls, and like as you do that, like think, I guess, like Daredevil. So you'll kind of see you'll kind of see like some kind of figment, like some kind of shadow. And like in the game, that's kind of how you get around, like with stealth. That's what I love about the game. So I'm like, the show better show like the stealth aspect. Like it's not just shoot 'em up. This is a game that requires a lot of thought. You have to craft, you have to learn how to build things, and then like get around. And like with these creatures, there's different ways to beat different types of creatures. So like say like certain ones you'll just shoot in the head. The clickers you have to like build a shiv and like stab them like from behind on the neck.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, the show better do that. Like I better be like, oh my god, like freaking out. Like how is she gonna get like, you know, like I'm just really hoping that like they're scary, and like people that are new to The Last of Us will get like that feeling that we got playing the game.
Yeah, you just made me think about that too. Like, it would be interesting to show how they would show that echolocation ability that they have. They can see through walls. I don't think they're gonna do that.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that. But I'm just curious how they're gonna get past them. Like how they're gonna show. Like maybe they're gonna like listen. Like have, I don't know, some kind of gear. I don't know.
Something they do that was a nod to the game is the whole barricaded door thing where they have to find like an alternate way around and like open another door behind the door. I thought that was pretty cool because I feel like the simple thing would just be to move the shit out the way.
Yeah.
And open the door. It always bothers me in video games. I'm like, you could just walk around.
Like find a way to break that thing.
But you actually see them actually attempt to move through slowly and, you know, not make a bunch of noise, you know, because, you know, it would be ridiculous because, like you said, they already know the different types of infected that are in the world. And I feel like, again, not to spoil anything, but they do change some things around in the way that they happen, especially throughout this first episode. And like I said, like, a lot of it is build more of the story between Joel and his daughter, you know, giving that a little bit more time, because like I said, we get that for all of like 5 or 10 minutes, maybe 20.
I feel like it's so quick. It's like boom, she's shot. Story goes on.
But you see the moment. I think you see the moment a little bit more clear here, is the when Joel just becomes like somebody else. Like he just checks out and was like, man, I stopped giving a fuck. Yeah, like, so I think they show that a little bit more. Like, you know, how much he loved his daughter, what he was willing to do, to now being able to just kill a man, no problem. And the look that you see on Ellie's face is like, can't tell she was excited. Or she was literally like, okay, yeah, I can use this guy to lead, because right now nobody knows anything about anybody, and they need a reason to trust Ellie, as we know in the game. I swear it's a moment in the game where like they have to walk through spores, and that was the way they found out that she
spoiler alert.
Yeah, in the game. So forget what I just said. But yeah, so like I said, major difference in the game. But like I said, overall, I liked it. I think the casting is amazing. I think just the world looks really great. And so far, like I said, the infected are gonna be the biggest expectation of the show, of like what people want to see, because they are the show, right? So like how much of that we're gonna get? How like you said, it's not gonna be gory, so it means we're not gonna kill people. We're not gonna do any of like the headshots or anything like that we do in the show, or push people over the ledge and stuff like that.
I'm wondering if they're gonna do it, but it's not gonna be like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like it's not gonna be like human bodies. I don't know. I'm trying to think like.
Yeah, because it gets a little ridiculous sometimes. Like some of them, like, it's just unacceptable. What are your expectations, I guess, for the rest of the season?
I'm just really hoping to see, like I said, like the different like weapons crafting, the different like all the different types of creatures. There better be some like horseback riding. I want to see the human interaction is like the most important thing of The Last of Us. So I can't wait. Like I don't want to like give away, but like gamers know, like, oh my god, like how much human beings can suck. So I'm like, I'm wondering if they're going to touch upon all those like interactions, especially it's so important for the character development of both Joel and Ellie, what they go through, like some of the like dark shit that they go through is why they become like so strong and able to actually like survive, like walking across the country.
On foot, by the way. Jesus Christ. I couldn't do it. I'm like, yeah, I'll meet you there, man. By one of these working cars. I think my overall, like, I want to see the relationship between Joel and Ellie build. I want to see how they go about that. I do want to see I want to be surprised. I want there to kind of be something that wasn't there before, some stuff that they didn't have time to tell in the game story, or maybe something that they wanted to add, because that was content that we got in the game. They wound up adding in the first game, like, oh, after it ended, for us to get any backstory. So maybe we'll get some of that later on. I'm hoping to see Ellie actually get a little bit more physical in this show, because right now they're like, no, don't do nothing, chill back. So I'm hoping to really see her get into it, because as we know in the second one, she's just ruthless, So hoping to see young Ellie, man, just really go at it. But overall, I just really hope this. I really want this to do well. It's one of the games, like, it's 10 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2013.
Like you said, I mean, we're not in a position for video games adaptations to fail right now. We need everything to get proper adaptation. I don't want Japan and Korea to be the only ones that get proper adaptations of their favorite media. Man. Like, we could finally do something with this. This is a story it's already laid out. The story's already laid out. There's no reason to even really change much of it in certain things, but for the most part, it's a pretty good story. I don't think you need to change much, but just give us a little bit more, like you said, of the backstory, more characters that we didn't really get to spend too much time with, or that we just kind of passed by.
Even the DLC, I'm wondering if they're gonna tie that in somehow.
I hope
maybe
so.
Make that extra like flashback scenes or something to kind of explain, because that eventually becomes so important. You know what I'm talking about? Right. So important for season the second game. Right. I'm already saying season 2.
Like, hoping to see that. But overall, I really like this first episode. I think they did a really good job. Like I said, I liked everything from the music. I really liked.
I was just gonna say the score. Yeah. I felt like I heard some songs, like, no lie, I think were actually in the game.
Yeah, the intro was dope. That's a variation on the game's music as you play throughout the game. I really like that. And like I said, I just think everybody was cool, man. And I can't wait to see more episodes. We get to episode 2 and see where this goes. Did you have anything else you want to say on that?
Yeah, I think, like we said, like, the score was phenomenal. The effects were phenomenal. Can't wait to see more of the infected, how they're gonna look. The rest of the characters, how everyone's gonna interact. But overall, I'm pretty impressed. And I feel like when it comes to a game that's like so precious to me, I feel like I'm gonna be like super like nervous, but so far I'm sold. Okay,
well, you heard it here. You heard it here first. So let us say, hey, like, we like it, we approve, we're giving it the thumbs up. Give it a chance. Like I said, it's an hour and 20 minutes, but it's definitely worth the watch. And I'll definitely be back next week to watch that second episode to see where it goes. Because like I said, at this point, I'm more curious to see what changes they do make. Yes. Versus going back down this path of the story that I already know. So that's kind of going to be the hook for me, is to see what changes they make. But other than that, this has been our impressions of the first episode of The Last of Us on HBO Max. Check it out. It's coming out, I want to say, Sundays 9. I could be wrong, that could be changed, but it's going to be on HBO Max. You can stream it there. But check us out, man. We'll see you guys next time. See?